dreams and promises, how to be brave, how can I love when I'm afraid to fall, but watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you, darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000.
In the first 10 in your hymn sheets, the Lord of the Dance. Alex, if you'd like to answer this question, the answer is I will. Alex, will you take Harley to be your wife? Will you love her, comfort her, honour and protect her, and forsaken all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live? Did you hear that in the back? Listen up. Harley, will you take Alex to be your husband? Will you love him, comfort him, honour and protect him, and forsaken all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Now, will you, the families and friends of Alex and Harley, support and uphold them in their marriage now and in the years to come?
That's just being in love, which anything can do. Love itself is what's left over when being in love is burnt away.
Who brings this woman to be married to this man? Say you, Harley and Elizabeth. have and to hold,
to have and to hold.
from this day forward,
From this day forward,
for better, for worse,
best for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
richer for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
sickness and
to love and to cherish, till death us do part,
till death us do part.
according to God's holy law.
According to God's holy law.
In the presence of God,
Presence of God.
I make this vow. I, Harley Elizabeth Palmer,
I, Harley Elizabeth Palmer,
take you, Alexander Marshall Wall,
take you, Alexander Marshall Waller,
to be my husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death us do part, according to God's holy law. In the presence of God, I make this vow. Boys, moments. May I have the ring? Thank you very much. You finally,
I'll let you be this ring.
as a sign of our marriage,
As a sign of our marriage,
with my body I honor you.
with my body I honor you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I have, I share
All that I will share with you.
within the love of God,
With the love of God.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
God, you ready? You ready? Alex, I give you this ring as a sign of our marriage. With my body, I honor you. All that I am, I give to you. All that I have, I share within the love of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I therefore proclaim that you are husband and wife.
Secret chord.
till bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can miss. I want something just like this. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this.
You all. Is that a few beers in it? For those of you that don't know me, my name's Ethan Waller. I am your Master of Ceremonies this afternoon. Hello. Just a few bits of housekeeping before we crack on. I am recycling a bit of material I've used before, because unlike Jez, I don't do this a lot. So, here we have the bride, here we have the groom. If at any point you see these two without a beverage of some sort in their hands over the evening, please rectify that problem quickly. And on a fire note, there's one exit, so if there is a fire, all the best. All the best. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker of tonight, and that would be the father of the bride, the legendary Mr. Martin Palmer.
They told me I shouldn't sing. So I won't. I do hate that Beef has actually stolen my opening line of my speech today. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Martin and I'm Harley's dad. And together with Vanda, we welcome you to our garden for the celebration of Harley and Alex's wedding. The last week has been pretty amazing, really. Sometimes it's been a sort of challenge whether we should be putting together a marquee or building an ark. But there we go, that's life, and it's all come together great. It's great to see you all here, and so far the weather's been pretty kind to us. You'll be pleased to know that this is quite a short, sharp speech in anticipation of Luke and Beef's mammoth speech afterwards. For me, it's great to actually have an audience together that looks as if they're almost interested in what I've got to say. Having lived the last 25 years of my life in a house with 3 women, it's been very seldom that I've been listened to. Even when I was listened to, it was seldom that they were actually interested in what I was saying. Anyone that knows Harley, Shannon and Vanda will completely understand that. They'll also understand that I've been given an extensive list of things that I can and cannot say or do. So, what does it start? Stand up straight, no singing, no childhood stories, do not use PowerPoint, don't waffle, no jokes, make sure your flies are done up, etc. So, have you heard the one about the monkey who goes into a pub? I'll finish that one later on, so I'll be in trouble. I can feel Vanda's eyes scoring into my neck. Seriously, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to come here to celebrate this very special, happy occasion. Harley, you look amazing. Got to be careful because this is where the emotion comes in. We're not an emotional family. We're so proud of you, of the incredible woman you've become, and recently the incredible mother you've become. We always knew you would. Alex, you've scrubbed up well. And we thank you for not wearing shorts and so far keeping your shorts on. I'm not sure it'll last all night, but there you go. Some of you have made very long journeys to be with us today, and we're so happy to have you here. For some of you, the last few weeks has been a bit of a wedding marathon. But don't worry, cramming rugby weddings into off-season is a bit of a nightmare, but I'm sure you'll be happy to be back training very soon. When I first met Alex, 6'2", 18 stone, that's 252 pounds for our American friends, sitting on a 2-seater sofa in our room over there. The first thought that came to mind was, who's called the bailiffs in? We really do not see this as losing a daughter, more of gaining another garden to look after Alex. Thank you very much. The woodwork's going great, but the garden's shit. How can we be anything other than over the moon today? The partnership of Alex and Harley has already run for over 8 years now, and it's delivered to us recently our beautiful grandson Bo, which is amazing and life-changing, so fantastic. Going on, my good friend Alexa, she tells me that part of my role is to pass on advice to the happy couple. Alexa's amazing. Well, Vanda and I have been married for 32 years, and I haven't got a clue how we did it, or what a secret is, but we did it. One thing's for sure, is that it isn't always easy, but we never gave up. What are you shaking? To Alex, a great philosopher once said, a man who gives in when he's wrong is a wise man. A man who gives in when he's right is married. Finally, I'd like to propose a toast to the happy couple, and I know that everyone here will want to join me in raising your glasses in a toast to a very long, happy and healthy future together. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the new bride and groom.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to the groom for today, the man of the hour, Quasimodo himself, Alex Waller.
Good afternoon. She's over there, she's actually here. All right, thanks. I'll keep this brief, as public speaking is my finest attribute, although it's not brief, it's 2 pages long. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming today, and especially Martin 25 years ago, because without that none of this would be happening. I checked that with so many people and they said it was alright. So. I grew up in America, that's family. I was trying to look abandoned for the rest of the speech. But no, seriously, my wife and I are very happy that you can share this day. Easy laugh, easy clap. And thank you for all that have come from such a long way. We really appreciate it. This day has been a long time in the making, full of decisions, a lot of messes, stresses, and absolutely none of them were from me. My wife has taken charge of everything as well. Yeah, I'm going to say it. You are now. As well as Martin and Vanda, as you just heard, and what a venue it is today. Still got flow, yeah. False act, see ya. Anyway, first a few thank yous. Firstly, Kirsty Day. Wow. The official wedding singer. Available for booking, see Christian. Firstly, Martin and Vanda, thank you very much for accepting me into your family with open arms. I feel privileged to officially call you family now, and what an event you've put on, as I just said. Lost my spot. Turning this garden into the venue it is today was by no mean feat, and you know, I carried some crates of beer in, but that's.
He was having a nap.
Yeah. It gets very sunny over there about 6 o'clock. But it's not just been the last week, it's been the last year or so. And the work you put in has been incredible, and thank you so much for everything you've given for us. And I can't mention you both without acknowledging what incredible grandparents you are for Bo, and have been so far, and long may it continue, and so that I can be in that shed doing the woodwork. I haven't sweated all day and now I'm absolutely bleeding. Class. Good job I bought shirts. Right, moving on. Mum and Carl, I want to thank you both for the little things, so clearing out my workshop, helping us move, coming around cleaning Webb's Drive when it was an absolute shithole, Bruce's spa weekends, yeah, looking after my dog, because I'm bored of him now and I've a child. I'm not, I love him, it's fine. You know, your support every weekend, even if Beef's playing. You know, and not just recently, going back to the years, I remember once, it wasn't me, obviously, Beef was getting bullied. He's fat and Asian. Well, he's going to run in a minute, so... My mum chasing down a kid on a moped because he bullied Beef. Or when you were looking after me and Beef and Luke on a holiday in Spain when Luke went missing. Yeah, it was Luke, definitely Luke. No, it wasn't. It was Beef. Carl, obviously a later drawn into the family, but you've always treated myself and Beef and Harley like your own, and I know that I can count on you and Mum no matter what. And that's something that we both cherish, and Bo as well. Dad and Debs, I want to thank you for some of the larger things. There you go. Realise how that sounded. You got it for me. Right, so... yeah, Sunday dinners, yeah. So Dad, dealing with me in my questionable youth was no joke. When I was teen and thought I had the mountain strength, you firmly reassured me I wasn't when I was 2 foot off the ground by my neck. Put my shit in order. Our scuba diving trips as we got a little bit older, something I still remember today. I'm watching you try and get out of a stormy marina in a wetsuit. It was one of the funny. You did get out, yeah. You're like a seal. Yeah, you're more at home in the water than you are on land. What size are you? Right. Oh, you bastard. Fucking well, man. But in all seriousness, I put my love of, I've been hammered for my woodwork, but I'm great and good at it. I put my love of that down to spending a lot of time in the garage with you. You give me the best example of what not to do when you ran your finger through a table saw. And drinking horrible little stubby beers that were rank. And Deb, another late addition to the family, but uncompromising with your care for everything Harley and myself do, and Bo now. And I know you two would and have moved heaven and earth should we ever need it, and it doesn't go unnoticed, and from the bottom of our heart we thank you both. Groomsmen. Gonna need it. That's just sweat, it's not emotion. Absolutely. In-house effect, don't So George, Hello and Courts, some of the best lads you could ever meet, my best mates. They know me better than anyone.
Some other mothers. Hello.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Brothers, mothers, you can always count on these blokes, no matter what, and thank you all for your help today and yesterday. And these lads will be leading the way at the bar later. And there's no Bailey's courts, unfortunately, but we can get you some. Yeah, we'll get you some. There's WKD or something. Luke and Beef, my best man. My 2 brothers, granted one is from another mother. And what a mother she is, Sheena. Right? She's fed me many a time, a few cows gone missing on the farm, sure. And And Ash, happy birthday for yesterday, by the way. Sorry I didn't text you. But no, these two blokes, Luke and Beef, they're through it all, the ups and downs, school, work. Obviously me and Beef have had a few scraps in the past, but I always won, so. Everything, but their loyalty has never wavered and it's always been appreciated. But having said that, Beef has a huge head that he's hit too much. Luke does way too much gardening and has held too many weed killers, which has led them both to develop a horrible memory and falsify events. Basically, they're lying bastards. And whatever they say isn't true, apart from the good parts. Right, sorry, it's coming. Bridesmaids. You all look amazing. Right, Charlie? Glad someone found it funny. Amazing friends to both myself and the woman I'm now lucky enough to call my wife. You all look incredible, as I just said. Getting ahead of myself. We can't thank you enough for your support today, and I'm sure you had some reservations when this overweight, horrible bloke with buggered ears ending up on the scene, but hopefully after a dog, a couple of houses, a child and marriage, I'm sort of got my foot in the door to be accepted. So on that note, I'd like to toast the bridesmaids, if you could be upstanding. To the bridesmaids. No, you don't stand up, you stay down. Chill out. I suppose we better talk about Harls, eh? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So this is my beautiful, stunning, caring and amazing wife, who's also a fantastic mother to our son Bo. But who'd have thought they'd say that about anyone they met in MBs? Now, I'm just going to give you a little backstory on our first date. It wasn't really too traditional. I picked Hals up just over there. And I thought, Hals loves animals. I've got an in here. Mum's got a puppy. Here we go. So, I go, right, we'll go to Pets at Home. We'll pick up some toys, maybe a little outfit, maybe something for the dog. And, so yeah, anyway, I picked Hals up from here and we went to Pets at Home and just got stuff for the dog. It was alright. So, but this, I don't know whether this says a lot about what Hals thought of me or whether she's just oblivious to life. It was hot, it was probably like 16 degrees. But like now, I started to bleed midway through Pets at Home, aisle 2, looking at beds. For the dog. Not ideal, I was wearing a white top. Amateur hour from me, really. So I got back to the car, we bought a fuckload of toys for the dog. And I managed to change my shirt into a bright blue shirt, completely different, in the middle of a car park. Come in, sit in the front seat next to Hals, oblivious. Didn't even bat an eyelid. She's even like, thank God that sweaty bastard's changed his top. He was starting to put me off, or she was just thinking about the puppy, which is more likely. But in all honesty, Harley, it's pretty surreal that I get to call you my wife. There it is, we're back. The first couple of months after seeing you, I remember going for a drink with some of my schoolboys and saying that I was going to marry you. I mean, it took me 8 bloody years. I wanted to make sure, you know. A house and a child. But now you've given me the greatest gift in that child, in Bo, and I couldn't have asked for a better mother for him. And seeing how you've been with him, it's been incredible, and he's been incredible as well, even if he didn't want to get me up till 3 a.m. last night. But in all seriousness, I love you. I'm honoured to be your husband, and I'd like you all to stand. Is this fine? Yeah. And toast to my new wife. Right, I'm going to go change my shirt. And then that's it, yeah, you don't...
At least you didn't give me a hammer in there. That would have been stupid. Right. Got to follow that now, haven't we? So I spoke to Al a few weeks ago, and he said that he didn't actually want me to speak at this, but I'm the only brother he's got, so here we are. And it's an honour for myself and Luke to be doing this speech, because we've got people from all over the world at this wedding, New Zealand, USA, even as far as Rushden, some of the people down there, which is a real testament to a free bar. But I hope that you've enjoyed the day. I hope you've enjoyed the day so far, where we've all acknowledged the fact that my brother's been punching well above his weight for 8 years.
We'd like to start by saying a massive thank you to Vanda and Martin for hosting such a fantastic wedding. I think we can all agree it's been such a special day so far. A lovely ceremony, delicious food, and a beautiful venue to host the reception. In fact, because today's already been such a success, Vanda and Martin have asked me to inform everybody that they'll be taking bookings for future weddings and events starting from next weekend. We'd also like to say a massive thank you to Waller's side of the team, who have been there since their relationship began. Andy and Deb, Sue and Carl. They say the bigger the family, the bigger the love. Your unconditional love and support is something that's enabled Alex and Harley's relationship to become what it is today. Ethan and I would also like to say a massive thank you to the groomsmen for helping us prepare out for this big day. I don't think any of us quite realised actually how difficult it is getting Alex ready in the morning. Making sure he's got the correct suit on, matching socks, shoes on the correct feet, his flies are done up, he's brushed his teeth, can remember where and when he needs to be. I don't think anybody should underestimate how difficult it must be for Harley getting 2 kids ready every morning.
So we'll swiftly move on to my relationship with Al. We met roughly 27 years ago. 13th of August 1992, gone down as one of the greatest days in human history. Coincidentally my birthday. But I don't remember much about the day as I was going through a lot of the time. But myself and Al, we formed an instant connection. From an early age I felt like Al respected me. He used to push me around in the baby walker, predominantly into walls or downstairs, but pushed me around nonetheless. And he used to love to give me opportunities to prove how cool I was. He was once very gracious enough, while we were on holiday with my dad, to allow me to eat an entire handful of raw coffee beans in exchange for him buying me a digital camera at 9 years old. And he's still waiting on that camera. As time went on, our personality differences began to show. Al was loud, obnoxious, abrasive, energetic and foolish, while I was calm, self-controlled and good-looking. But Al's energy occasionally got him into the little predicament. He could normally be found scanning some sort of fence or garage, building a den, or just generally being a small menace. So because of this, I avoided physical confrontation with him. I decided to use my intellect to get back at him. Big old Swede, this. A perfect example being, so when we were younger, myself and Al used to share baths. It was quite a bit younger, 16 or something. I wasn't a huge fan of this. I liked to bath by myself, sing a couple of songs, unwind after a hard day of Pingu, that kind of stuff. So to get my own bath, I decided to use my superior mind. So Al liked to scuba dive while he was in the bath. So we're there, bathing away. Al scuba dive, and I'm like, oh, Beef, this is your moment. Take it. The conditions are perfect. So what was my master plan? Flush him out, quite literally. I took a poo in the bath. And it worked. He jumped out, ran out of the room, and developed an irrational fear of submarines.
As Al got a bit older, it's safe to say not a lot changed. I was first introduced to Alex when we were about 14. For some very odd reason, I'd been asked to take the new kid around school. It was clear to me that Al didn't have a massive interest in the academic side of school life. Al thought of himself as a bit of a social influencer. He made a lot of friends in a short amount of time, and his confidence grew throughout the day. This was his induction day. He hadn't even been given a place at the school yet, but he began joining in with some of the classroom games. One of which was the classic cover your mate's shirt in ink. We've all done it. Al, with his confidence sky high, finally felt like he'd been accepted in life. And he decided it was his turn to grab the pen. The room fell silent, and about 30 sets of eyes all stared at him, egging him on. Never being one to withstand a bit of peer pressure, Al thought, this is it. This is my time to shine. I can show everybody how cool I really am, finally. I've lost that. Al, so he lobbed the pen. Al, being Al, had a slight slip of the wrist, and the pen flew towards the front of the classroom, missing the teacher's head by literally half an inch. The pen hit the whiteboard, exploded, not only covered the walls and the board in black ink, but the teacher as well. That was it. Game over. Al was sent out the classroom on his induction day. Sent out before he'd even been allowed in. No one had ever been on induction day and denied entry to the school. The one time I'd been chosen to show someone around, Waller had to turn up. Thinking there was no saving the situation, and wondering how I was going to explain myself at the end of the day, we first saw a glimpse of Waller's intellect and charisma. When asked for his name and details to report the incident, he simply told the details of another pupil he'd got to know earlier on in the day. Problem solved. Waller joined the school in September, and the rest was history. Now the next point's actually been touched on earlier by Al, wasn't it, Al? About running off on holiday. Chatting to Ethan when writing this speech, another experience we both thought we should mention was a trip to Spain with Sue. Quite a memorable trip. As I'm sure you're all aware, Waller can get distracted and lose his concentration very easily. One night he thought the hotel entertainment was enough, so took the evening into his own hands. Exploiting the all-inclusive bar for a bit of Dutch courage, Al decided to introduce himself to a group of 24-year-old Russian girls. He was looking good with a mix of lash rash, sunburn, peroxide blonde hair, and a questionable henna tattoo. Beef and I thought this was very brave for someone that has the conversation skills of a thumb and somebody that struggles to even speak English fluently. About 5 minutes after grabbing us another drink from the bar, Waller had disappeared, nowhere to be seen. His phone was switched off. About 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I received a call from a very out-of-breath Alex. He'd been running for nearly an hour from what he could only describe as the Russian mafia. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Don't tell Mum. So naturally, being the best mate I was, I went and woke Sue up.
Justice. Now, we've all got something in this room, we've all got something we like about Al. But I think we can all agree that one of his most redeeming qualities is probably his undenying love for firearms and violence. From bringing a spider in as a kid, dismantling it leg by leg, and asking my mum to rebuild it, to owning every different form of weapon that you could possibly imagine around the house. I'm talking rifles, crossbows, bow and arrows, divers' knives, golf clubs, baseball bats, Nerf guns, potato shooters, real dangerous stuff hanging around the house. But the story that sticks out in my mind is one that occurred just after we moved out of the house we bought together. Turns out, on his third floor bedroom, Al was always prepared for an intruder, you never know. But the gun cabinet with 3 rifles in wasn't enough firepower, so he decided to hide a machete in there too. Why wouldn't you? The issue comes, however, when he moved out, forgot about it, didn't tell me, and we rented it out to a couple of tenants. We're both enjoying our respective days when we get an email. Hi Ethan and Alex, hope you're both well. Just to let you know, we've had a complaint from your tenant, he's had a machete fall on his head. To which I said, nah, no chance Al, we didn't have a machete there, did we? And was met with this face. We didn't have it in there, did we Al? So we decided to message back, played dumb, not a challenge for Al. Cheap ones, mate, they're easy. No, it couldn't have been us, we don't do weapons, it must have been the previous owners. And he was like, don't think so, unless their machete case also had Waller carved into the front of it. Luckily, a month's free rent can solve a multitude of problems, but tissues at the ready. For all your faults, mate, you've got some decent qualities. Well, you've got 4. Not miracle work, mate. Number 1, your loyalty. You once threw a kid in the bush for me at school because he was beating me up, which he totally wasn't. And I know that you would and have moved mountains for friends and family in need. Number 2, your work ethic. I think a large portion of the people in this room have seen the time and the effort you put into something you're committed to, no matter what it is. And you've been a great role model for me in parts, and I'm sure many other people. Number 3, your somewhat hidden emotional side. I've only seen you cry a couple of times in 26 years. One was when I left, but whatever, let's speak about it. But I've also been on the receiving end of some real conversations with you, which confirm you aren't the complete emotionless robot that many suspect you to be. And last but not least, number 4, easy. Number 4, your own little family. Watching you become a father for the first time and seeing how it's completely transformed you is like watching that hanging caterpillar on a bug's life turn into a slightly less hanging butterfly. You've taken to it like a duck to water, and I can safely say out of all the things I've seen you achieve, you making your own family of Harley, Bo and Bruce is the thing I'm most proud of you for.
On that note, let's move on to how Al started his courtship with Harley. The Oxford Dictionary defines the word stalker as a person who hunts game stealthily, or a person who harasses or persecutes someone with unwanted and obsessive attention. 2 guesses at which one Al was. We aren't completely sure when Al made his mind up that Harley was the woman he wanted to pursue, but when he did, it became quite a struggle for myself and Beef. I find myself with more visits from Al than I've ever had before. Why? Harley loves animals. I live on a farm. For a man who wasn't huge on having photos of himself, suddenly his social media was ridden with pictures of himself feeding a calf, playing with pigs, wrestling a goose, so on and so forth.
The more we spoke about it, the more it became pretty obvious that Harley didn't really have a choice in this whole relationship. As well as the farm fiasco, I somehow got dragged into it too. Myself and Harley were in similar social circles, and during Al's attempted advances, I became the world's chubbiest spy. Every time I was out, I'd be bombarded by copious texts. You out yet? Have you seen Harley yet? Who revs her MBs? Please text me back. I've been doing laps of Bridge Street for 3 hours. The Dodgers are reacting. Eventually, though, I would report back, and sure enough, I put him out of his misery. And the romance blossomed beneath the idyllic landscape of a cave bar with an unexplained fish tank on the wall. Now, they say statistically 50% of all couples who get married are women. Which brings us on to Mrs. Harley Waller, and what a ring that has to it. I would say welcome to the family, but as we've alluded to, you've been part of it for the last 8 years, so there's not a whole lot of point.
Before you came along, we were all firmly of the belief that Al was actually dead inside. But the look I saw on his face as you walked down the aisle today is unlike anything I've ever seen from him before. And I've seen this man in front of every food establishment in the room. I'm sure everyone here agrees that to say you look stunning today is an understatement. And we're all very grateful that Bo has taken 95% of your genes. But on a serious note, we want to thank you. Firstly, for all your admin skills. As we already mentioned, you managed to organise yourself, Bo and Al on a day-to-day basis. The boys would definitely be lost without you.
Secondly, and slightly more specifically, we want to thank you for the one time you announced to a rather large pub in Norfolk that you wanted to go to the arcade so that you could ride the stimulator, and not realising why that was funny. That took a while to think it. And finally, we want to thank you for the joy you've given and are going to give our best friend and brother. I know firsthand that he's not an easy person to live with, believe me. But he's got a heart of gold and loves you and Bo, well, and I thought Bruce, but you never know, more than anything in the world. And I've got absolutely no doubt that you guys are going to have an extraordinary life together. Now, I couldn't give this speech today without mentioning two special people that are sadly no longer with us. Firstly, our granddad, John, who alongside our beautiful Nan supported my parents in putting Alex and I through school. Without their generosity, we would have never been able to attend Wellingborough. We would have never met many of you fantastic people, and we would have never fallen in love with the game we both get to call a career now. The second is our fallen soldier, Harry, our other brother who was taken from us all far too soon. I'd have loved to watch Mum try and... Oh, come on, right now. I'd have loved to watch Mum try and hold it together with three other boys playing rugby, and I'd love to see the look on Dad's face when he realises he has to buy 3 pints at the pub. But I've got no doubt that Harry and Grandad are both suited and booted, looking down today with immense pride and love. So before the final verse, can I just ask you to raise your glasses to toast all the loved ones that are not with us today? That's all. To family.
Alan Harley, I hope that we've done you proud, and we hope you receive so many wedding gifts you don't realise that we didn't actually get you one ourselves.
And seeing as everyone else has given you advice, I suppose we should too. Just always remember what that one wise man once said: love's like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably shit.
Darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet, and I never knew you were that someone waiting for me. Yeah, 'cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you'll get mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark. Come on now. With you between my... Let me hear you sing. Across, listen to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath. You heard me, darling, you look perfect tonight.
We have traveled land and sea, but as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I would away forever, exalted in the sea. As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same, gave you another name, switch up the batteries. If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. Knowing that I hope you can't shame me. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no place I'd rather be.
I don't know if I'm talking. I love you all. Thank you for coming. Get drunk. Woo! Too late.
Get drunk, too late for that one.
Now this is definitely better than your head doing. Rip them off, rip them off, rip them off, rip them off.
It's watching all right here.
I'd rather be.